Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of Book of Demons. My name is Wilfred, and happy news, the Book of Demon game finally came out of early access. I've been playing this game for quite some time, also featured this game on my channel. I've got the level cap warrior. I've done a fair bit of end game as well, quite a few legendary cards that I've collected. But I'm not going to play warrior today because a couple of reasons. The first one is that I have not played this game for quite some time, so that I get a little bit rusty. I have to get familiarized with all these like deck kind of building and choose the right card for the right situation again. So I thought maybe it's a good time for me to start a new character, and also for those of you who would a little bit want to just watch a video on how to play this game rather than downloading a demo and play this yourself, feel free to stay on. I would like to play Rook. Now this game is heavily inspired by Diablo, and you could play as a warrior, a rook, or a wizard. So today I'd like to start playing a rook, and I'm very excited because I have not been playing any other characters besides a warrior. I wanted to save something after early access so that I could like have something to look forward to, and yay, finally the day has come. So now to create a character, straightforward. You could like just pick one of the classes. A rook is a thief, and you could use arrow as well as melee. There are a couple of like cards that I'm going to talk a little bit about later on once I've encountered them. You could pick a character name that you like, or randomly generated one if you want. Acacia sounds good to me, so I'm going to pick Acacia. Okay, now there are three modes. One is the casual, if you feel that the normal is too hard, but if you watch my channel, you shouldn't have any difficulties doing well in this game. So I'll play a normal, some like hardcore or roguelite. So this is the one that if your character dies and remain as dead, you start from the beginning again. Some people like the kind of gameplay. I'll stick with normal. So now this is a town, the old Trisham, new Trisham, or the Book of Demon Trisham. So this is the place when you interact with the non-player classes here. And the first one is the barmaid. Now I love her voice acting a lot. She's famous. I couldn't remember her name. I've asked in the forum and the developer answered me. You may recognize her name in some of your favorite video games that you play as well. So I'm just going to keep quiet, let the story run, so that you guys can experience this beautiful aspect of the game.
Is that really you? I'm so happy to see you after all this time. It seems like it's been ages since you left our town. I just wish we weren't meeting under such dire circumstances. Back then, it was peaceful. But now, the town is disturbed by a demonic presence that's spreading throughout the land. Most of our friends are gone. Some people fled. Some took their own lives. Some have just vanished. Those who stayed have lost their minds or are too frightened to leave their houses. I'm doing my best to keep everyone's spirits up. But the truth is, we won't survive for long without help. Just don't tell anybody I said that. You must have lots of questions, but I don't have many answers. Talk to the sage if you want to know more. He might be able to help you.
Yep, so that is the dialogue that you hear as you play the story mode. It's something that I miss when I play the end game mode, because you don't really interact with all these characters in that way anymore. So that is the dialogue you have with the barmaid, and you could there's quite a lot of topics that you could talk about. There are altogether 7 of them. Then we'll talk a little bit about what the barmaid does, but basically there's something called a magical cauldron, whereby you could gain some more extra reward or even attribute points that I'll talk a little bit later. Now that is the barmaid. And this is the sage, or Uncle Deckard. You guys know Diablo, you probably recognize the voice and the way that he talks and so on.
Your arrival brings hope to my old heart. There's no better way to forge one's skill than by traveling. I should know. But I beg you not to leave. We need you here. Dark things lurk in the depths beneath the old cathedral. I've seen plenty of evils in my travels, but this makes my journey through the Dragon Wastes look like a walk in the park. Everything started with the disappearance of our bishop. I fear he has been dragged into the catacombs deep below the church. I do not know what caused such desecration of that holy place. That enigma is yet to be solved. And you are the only one who can do it. Just remember to be careful. Few who have ventured into the dark made their way back. And those who did were no longer alive.
Yep, that's a sage, and it's just a little bit of story to it. Now, then you see the whole thing light up. That's where you head to the cathedral. Now, what you have not seen is the beginning trailer of it, whereby you are the hero who came back from this town and realizing that everything changes, and henceforth you need to head to the cathedral and find out what happened. Shall we? All right. So now you're going through the depth of hell. The first one is the cook or the butcher. The second boss is going to be the anti-pope. And the third one is Diablo himself. And the duck. So now you are in story mode right now. The idea is for you to traverse through all this level to reach various kind of bosses, and then after that you can continue playing endgame mode like My Warrior and to continue this whole journey underneath below as well. So now let's start with this game. This is like a tutorial. Later on in the game, I'll show you in just a bit. You could change the size of the dungeon to fit your time that you have. So you could decide whether a mission should be 15 minutes because that's what you have, or 45 minutes because you have so much time to play a game. All right. So now the dungeon also tells you what kind of monster it has. Like for example, you have this type of monster, which I presume is a skeleton monster with a melee weapon, and also the I think this is the corpse kind of that will explode, poisonous kind of like a mob. So let's start with this dungeon first. Now all the dungeons are randomly generated, so every time the experience is different. And so this is the one that you have here.
I wonder if taking a bow into the dungeon was a smart choice.
So now the rook used the bow at range, but then when the mob come near you, you can use melee. So it's kind of flexible. Right now I have no cards here. Now as a level 1, I can only have 3 cards, but if once you reach the level cap, you can have up to all 10 cards. Now the first tips I'd like to share with you, and it's really important, is to use a cap lock. So cap lock will toggle the items that you can see on the ground. You want to complete the dungeon because that will give you extra bonus. To complete the dungeon, you have to destroy all the barrels and all the collect all the gold and so on. So let me just go ahead and do that. All right. So now anything that you see here, you can destroy, and gold, you just mouse over and you get it. So you know when you're nearby. All right. So that is the one. And you could like that, and you can collect all the gold. Now the any path that you have completed, meaning that there's nothing left behind, is a golden kind of like shaded here. So there's no reason for you to revisit the part of the walkway again, and they'll tell you where you come from as well. So the game is kind of nice, although there's I don't know whether there's a mini map or not, but it's really not necessary. It's really fun. Alright, so these are just like there's a loot box there. I'll collect it in just a moment. Okay, so now let's see. Here is where you can have the card. So this game doesn't collect gear, but you collect card. The card gives you ability. Now there are 3 types of card, 3 different colors. So the red one, the blue one, and the green one. So if my memory serves me right, the red one are consumable. So you have to collect the ingredient, or you can top up the card later on. The green one is the one that will reserve your mana, but you can use it like as much as you like. So you get lesser mana at your disposal, but you know there's no limit to how much you use it. And the third type is the one that will consume your mana to deal damage, which is a blue color. All right. So now this is a red color, so I know that this card will do something, but I will consume it and sort of like, you know, and use it up. So this is a card whereby if I use it, I'll have 20 arrows, and the arrow is an ice arrow. So the ice arrow can be, because some mob will have a burning heart, some mob will have green and toxic heart. So you will see it later, you know, it's very interesting. And you could slow the target, you can freeze the target and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the card, equip it, and I'm going to use it as well. Alright, so I'm going to use the card. And by using the card, you can see that I've got 20 arrows at my disposal. Right click is to attack using this special ability. Alright, so I'm going to use that. You can hold shift key as well. I can, like, you know, attempt to freeze the target if I want to. Okay, so you just collect the gold, and the then there's you know, these are consumable that go into the card itself, so that's nice. Okay, so that's done. Now it tells me that I've already collected the prize, but I have 4 more items to do. So it's 2 barrels and 2 warrior, and you see the blinking light here. These are the area whereby they give you hints that you still haven't completed everything. So if you have used the cap lock, you know, trick that I've already mentioned, any things that fall on the ground you can see without having to hold the Alt key, which is to show items on the ground. So now I level up. So now when you level up, you could do a couple of things. Once you level up, you could either increase your heart or increase your mana. Alright, but it doesn't really matter that much, and I'll tell you why. So for example, you could say that let's increase my mana. But then, you know, whatever, the heart will go into the quadron. So the quadron will contain the heart as well. Now, you don't use a quadron all the time, because every time you use it, the price will go up. And when you defeat monster, you may collect cards that you could, like prizes, going into a quadron. The only condition is that once the character die in a game, you lose all the cards. You lose all the prizes in the quadron. So it's a little bit of gambling there. How long you want to hold the items in the quadron is basically depending on how you know, adventurous you are. So the longer you hold the prizes in the quadron, of course, the more attribute points that you have in the quadron, and also, but it's cheaper to open it. But the more time you open it, the more expensive it will become. You know what I mean? It's just a bit.
Sanctity of this place has been fouled. That's for sure.
So now I've collected all the chests. I've I've cleared the level. You can click onto this staircase anywhere on the map, and you'll go into the next level here. Alright, so I'm going to play a little bit faster here because you have already seen quite a fair bit. So I'm just going to. So none of them has anything. You can mouse over all these things. They won't tell you what is it yet. So this is the part when you leave and go back to town. You could say that you can say, well, I don't want to complete everything. You could, but you miss a lot of like good loot and so on. Now these are zombie, and it'll explode when it dies. So that you know, if you're near it. By the way, this is the boss with 4 phases of attack. So if you're near it, when the corpse explodes, then you will take the damage yourself. Now I'm going to do the boss here. The boss has 4 phases to it, all randomly generated. So I'm just going to. So we'll see what's the second phase. Second phase is a lot of like minion here. So I can use the frozen kind of like thing here. So I've done it, and now just need to clear the whole thing. Sometimes there are some surprises here and there. So I've got a lot of gold this time from the boss. There's a couple of other things. 2 more corpse, 2 more warrior, and a bookcase. Bookcase usually have some good loot there as well. You can attempt to freeze the corpse somewhere far away. So done. So I've got level up again. Yay. So I say, well, maybe just now I put points in the mana. May as well put 1 point in the heart this time round. So yep. So that's the
Great.
There's a new card. The card is a health potion. So again, red cards means it's consumable, so that if anything happens, I could use the red card to fill up my health itself. All right. So yeah, that's about it. You don't need to retrace back the whole dungeon to exit. You can click onto the button here and just exit. Very simple, very easy, very nice. So that's already I've completed the thing, the dungeon. So I could say, let's go down. So I didn't die once. I've swept all the level clean, and I've also killed every single last of them. So all these are like, you know, bonus or whatever rank. It'll count towards the rank of it, and later on you could have different portrait that you could use. So it's kind of interesting. The whole thing, you can see all these things. All right. So now there are a couple of things that they'll remind you to do. You could talk to the barmaid, because there are some conversation there, and also you can use a cauldron to get all your attribute point back, because remember, when you level up, when you choose to level up, putting 1 point to mana, another heart actually go into the cauldron, and you could retrieve it later as well with money. So like I said before, the more time you use the cauldron, the more expensive it become. So I usually leave things here until it's a sizable thing, and it get a little bit like before the boss. I'm worried that my character may die and lose all the prizes. These are all prizes. The question mark are the prizes. Then I say maybe I should just pay one lump sum and get all my attribute back and become more powerful. Of course, I can talk to the sage as well, or you can recharge a card as well, because you have 2 consumable cards, the red card, and you could do that. All right, you can say, well, I want to visit the town now, or you can do it later. So if you're not, now this is the part I would like to demonstrate to you, and the game become really fun, because you could decide how big the size of the dungeon is. So for example, you can say, I don't really have a lot of time. I need to start cooking in about 10 minutes time, which I may. Right now it's already 6:50 p.m. So I could do a very small dungeon, or I can say, well, I've got a lot of time to play, so let's do a 42-minute dungeon. So, you know, each one of them will have, of course, more kind of like a monster, more bosses, you know, kind of thing that you could play. Or you can say that, well, maybe 20 minutes or I can have. So doesn't matter. The more time you have, the more reward you have, but then you don't penalize if you don't want to you know, do a big dungeon or small dungeon. Doesn't really matter, because it tells you what are the reward, how much progress in order to reach the next bit, which is this one here, the boss or whatever it is. All right. So now I'm not going to do it now. You could go back to town as well, and when you go back to town, you could talk to the people here, and you are encouraged to talk to all the people here to just find out a little bit more about the background of the character, a little bit function as well, because you could actually use the NPC for you to charge your card, because right now you have 1 charge out of 4. 1 charge out of 4, you could, you know, there's a cost to charge up, and and don't worry about money. You have a lot of gold as you play this game, and I hope you enjoy this short video to give you get started, get excited. And for those who, you know, haven't tried this game, there's a free demo. I think there's still a free demo. Just play it. You will love it. I love it. All right. So I'll talk to you again next time. I hope my rogue next time will be a little bit, you know, more powerful. Maybe just a little bit before the first boss. All right. See you. Bye.